Hey everybody, this is Steve Krause. I'm coming at you from my office actually, and I just wanted to record a short video to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's going on for this week before Thanksgiving. This sort of discussion about ideas for the second project, and also a little bit of a heads up on the schedule as we go into the last part of the class, the last 2 weeks, and to the end of time and things like that. And I also wanted to record this in lieu of the fact that we couldn't get together face to face and everything. So here's the deal. Below me on here, because I posted this video, and then you'll have a chance to comment. What I'm asking for people to do is to post about what you're thinking about doing for the second project. I'm assuming that people haven't started writing the second project yet, but this is a good time for you to sort of spitball a little bit, throw something against the wall, see if it sticks, get some feedback from other people, get some ideas about connections to the readings and things like that. Just a brief reminder, it's like the first part, the first project that you did for the first part of the semester, except that that you want to focus on readings and theories and the suggestions and discussions and things like that that have come since the middle of the term. So that basically includes, for those of you keeping score at home, all the stuff that we talked about in terms of rhetorical situation, pretty much up to what we're doing next week in terms of the visual rhetoric stuff. That's going to be hard to write an essay about, since we're going to, we'll talk about the schedule in a second, we're going to start talking about the second project while we're talking about the visual rhetoric stuff. But for those of you who took Derek's visual rhetoric class last winter, or for those of you who are interested in that and want to read ahead a little bit, it's still a possibility. Anyways, so my request for you for this half week before Thanksgiving is post something to the discussion about what it is you're thinking about doing for your project. Share that with everybody, get some feedback from everybody, and so we can get on to the second project for the second part of the term. Like I said before, the same basic rules, about 7-ish or so, 8-ish pages. You want to make connections to the readings. This is the main reason why I'm assigning this. That is, the whole point of the assignment is for me to see how you have thought about using the stuff that we've read and talked about, using that to analyze some event situation in the world. Anyways, post your ideas and we'll have a conversation about it. Now, as far as the actual schedule goes, and hopefully it's over my shoulder over here at this point, this is where the part of the term where things start really coming to a crashing halt very quickly. So just to review a little bit about what's going on here. Week 14, next week, right after Thanksgiving break, on December 4th, Wednesday, December 4th, important date for two reasons. One is that if you decide to revise your first project, and if you decide to revise your first project, we've had some conversation about that. It's due by the end of the day on December 4th. Also due by the end of the day on December 4th is the first draft of your second project. We'll begin the discussion peer review for that project, and I'll set up a space like I did for the first part of the semester for people to do that. We'll also be having some conversations about the readings and things like that. And one of the things I'm adding to the readings here, and I'll have this information on the calendar, and you'll see what I mean here if you go look at the stuff for week 14, is essentially an optional field trip. There's a thing going on over at the Student Center right now. It's an exhibit in one of the galleries that they have there called Non-Text, and it's a exhibit where they're making art visuals using text, and I thought that seemed to be kind of an interesting thing to potentially talk about and read about while we're reading about this visual rhetoric stuff. Just a little flyby visual rhetoric just at the end of the semester. Anyway, so December 4th, the first draft of the second project is due, and we got these readings about visual rhetoric. The discussion for the second project should wrap up for peer review on Friday, December 6th. I know it's not a lot of time, but we don't have a lot of time at the end of the semester. Week 15 is the last week of the class where all we're doing is we're wrapping stuff up and we're getting ready for the final. Okay? So if you look at the schedule, you'll see that whatever was left over in terms of discussion will kind of wrap up on December 9th. On Tuesday, December 10th, the second short rhetorical project is due. Same as before, you'll need to post that, etc., etc. By Thursday, December 12th, we'll have the second. I'll be able to have some sort of discussion with you about the final participation grade for the semester. I haven't been very good about keeping up on that, but I think that frankly, I've been pretty pleased with the level of participation from everybody this semester, and so I have a feeling that that part of the grade will be a pretty easy one to configure for everybody. I don't think anyone's going to be surprised about that. And Thursday, December 12th, what I will do is I will distribute the take-home final electronically to everybody by posting it on this website. Okay, a couple people have asked about what the final is going to be. Well, you know, I don't want to give too much away, but I'll say this: it's going to be an essay test. It'll be an essay test where there will be a limit of how many pages you can write. So no, it'll probably be something like no more than 5 pages. I'll give you some very specific guidelines in terms of the questions. There'll probably be 1 or 2 questions that everyone will need to answer. There'll probably be 1 or 2 more questions that are shorter answers that will give you a choice of like 3 or 4 options between those questions. There may be at least 1 question where I'm asking you to do something with a new text that I'm bringing to the final. It won't be a huge reading or something like that, but the point is it'll be something that'll come from outside of what we've already talked about, and you'll do something with it. I'm being vague about that on purpose. The main point of the final is to make sure, or for you to demonstrate your mastery of the reading. So in other words, as long as you've read everything, and as long as you have enough capacity to go back and look at things and find quotes and passages and things like that, you'll be fine. And the final is really an opportunity for success, so hopefully people will, you know, see it as such. Okay. Anyways, the final I'll distribute on December 12th, and then it is due December 17th, which I always describe as the end of time of the semester. Okay. Here's what I mean by that. December 17th, 4:59 p.m. Michigan time, everything's fine. You know, birds are singing, children are playing, we're debating agency, you know, everything's great. But at 5:01, December 17th, Michigan time,
time itself ceases to exist. We're something to avoid. A black hole. A nothingness. Ah!
That's scary, right? Well, seriously. So what I'm getting at is that no matter what, everything has to be in on December 17th at 5 p.m. Michigan time. It's the end of time for the class. It's the end of time for me. It's the end of time for you. Okay, when we'll all go on with our lives. When you hand in the final, I will give you back my comments and grades on the second project. Remember, there's no opportunity to revise that, but I know that people know how they did and what I thought of it, and what maybe you can do about it with it after class. Okay. All right. I think that's it for now. Like I said, we're heading into that last final turn. Hang on tight. It always gets interesting and exciting at the end. Okay, I'll see you online.